0424.
The SIU broadcast crew is a group of students, staff, and faculty committed to producing televised sporting events for ESPN. The sports televised are volleyball,
Cameras have utility, so we can go ahead and set
softball, baseball, men's and women's basketball,
4,
good.
3.
and football. Each event has a call time of at least 3 hours before the game starts so the crew can set up their equipment. Everybody from the camera operators to the directors show up early to ensure any technical problems that could happen don't happen.
Right now, I'm telling you, I'm seeing...
Of course, if anybody needs help learning the equipment, they shouldn't be afraid to ask their fellow crew members for assistance.
Position when you go inside, you'll be able to see that.
The most basic job in the crew is the camera utility. The camera utility manages the cables that come out from behind a camera if that camera operator needs to get up and move. The camera operator is charged with following the action to the director's instructions and capturing moments that the director wants televised. Those moments could be shots of fans in the stands, either team's bench, or images to help tell the story the announcers are talking about. In any sport, being a camera operator requires great attention to detail and sharp eyes and ears to capture the best shot in the moment. Going into SIU's broadcasting truck, the first position on the wall is the replay operator. This person's job is to comb or scrub through captured footage in order to show highlights.
At the start of the play, we want to see all the...
Those highlights could include good plays, player packages, or any number of things fans may want to see again.
We're going to need some sponge. How long will it take you to reset it?
Against the Butler Bulldogs.
I have to do it now.
Graphics is a big part of any sports production, and SIU has their own. The person in charge of graphics modifies current existing templates with information for the current game. The person in charge of audio is known as the A1. They set up the microphones for the announcers as well as venue audio so those watching elsewhere can hear what happens during play. Moving on, the technical director operates a board that controls everything on screen. From which camera is live to graphics to a replay made available, the TD has a very important job in the truck. The only crew position more important than the TD is the director.
But in the meantime, guys, go ahead and secure your cameras.
The director is in charge of everything in the broadcast. Some of the duties include assigning the crew to their positions, making sure everybody knows how to do their jobs to the director's expectations, and making a complete broadcast that is both informative and fun to watch.
Flight in.
Nobody's surprised North Dakota State is on top.
While anyone can learn how to direct, it's best to leave the most challenging and important position to a professional.
I'm Dennis Galloway. I've been an instructor here at SIU for the past, well, let's say 5 years. This is my first and only teaching experience. Prior to that, I worked in the television industry for about 30 years, primarily working as a freelance director, specializing in live televised sports. And here now within the Mass Communications and Media Arts College, I've been tasked to work on the sports media specialty.
Since he joined 5 years ago, Dennis has always directed the broadcast for home games of every major sport. He also teaches a class where most of the work comes from showing up and helping out with the broadcasts for home games.
So one of the things that we do here as part of our production program, the Missouri Valley Conference and ESPN have reached a 10-year agreement where each of the Missouri Valley Conference schools is to produce telecasts that originate on their campus. So we have our own television production truck. We use various students both in our department and outside of the department as well. It's open to whomever has an interest in working these telecasts. And it's a great way for students to get hands-on experience and be able to put on their resume. pardon me, hey, I did X amount of games as a camera operator, as a replay operator, etc., on ESPN telecasts, because these go out live on the streaming service for ESPN, either ESPN Plus or ESPN3. And students have been able to get actually some good jobs out of that. In fact, just recently we had one of our graduate students who's actually leaving early. He will not be here for the full semester. He's hired by ESPN and will be leaving sometime in October. We also have had a number of other students who are working full-time with ESPN. One that's working with CBS Sports HQ, I believe it's called. That's their online sports network. And we've had some people that are working with truck vendors and the like, and we have some we're getting people placed in really quality jobs. And something that I like to mention here with our production, with our programming, is, as I mentioned, each of the Missouri Valley Conference schools are doing productions on their individual campuses. The executive producer for the Missouri Valley Conference has stated to a number of people and a number of times that the telecasts here at SIU are the gold standard for the conference, and he wants everybody else to come up to our level. We set the bar here high here, and it shows with the productions, and the students who are involved in it are having a really good experience, and I'm really happy for them.
As part of the broadcast, there are a few simple rules that need to be followed in order to keep everyone safe and happy. Number 1 is to show up at the call time. If you can't make it, then emailing Dennis is the next best thing. Number 2, treat fellow crew members with respect. If the situation is getting tense, try to bring in a third party to calm the situation down. Number 3, treat all equipment with care. If something breaks or isn't working properly, report it immediately. Rule number 4, don't mess around during the live broadcast. Anything and everything done on camera while live is a reflection of the entire crew. If someone were to be doing something inappropriate and it was seen, discipline would be taken against the individual. While it may seem funny to the individual, people later in their life may not find it so funny, and they could lose job opportunities because of it. General rule number 5 is to help strike all of the gear used in the game. This involves packing cameras into cases, undoing cabling to wrap it up, and packing smaller cables and items into crates. Everything goes into the truck for storage and safekeeping until the next broadcast. Lastly, general rule number 6 is to keep learning from game to game. While the crew in the truck don't have to learn new things often, new camera operators have to learn from sport to sport. The duties of Camera 1 in basketball won't be the same as Camera 1 in volleyball. Listening to the director is imperative when learning a new sport or a camera. The director and everyone else will be thankful. Their crew is a tight-knit family of peers that strive to make the best broadcast possible. Each crew member, from the utility to the director, has the drive to succeed individually at their job and as a whole crew. So what are you waiting for? Join the Saluki broadcast today to get a jump start on your career in live televised broadcasts.